morning.
Good afternoon. And good
Good
evening.
Wherever you are on planet, whatever this is.
The third rock from the sun.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm Ariel.
I'm Shia. Welcome to being here today. Let's talk about listening.
What?
Yeah.
A whole new
new
topic?
topic, a whole new reality. You know, we don't really listen. We think about what's being said and we comment and we see whether we agree or disagree or already know what's being talked about.
Oh my God, they always start with listening.
Not always, but we should.
Often.
But we should.
We should.
We should definitely, because see, the trick to being enlightened is to listen to your universe.
Rather than your thoughts.
That's right. Your thoughts will always mislead you because they're worried about their own survival, its own survival. It's kind of like that, I can't remember his name, the computer in
Hal.
Hal, yeah, kind of like Hal in that movie. You know, you can't trust your computer. However, you can trust yourself. See, and listening pulls you into yourself, into the current moment. Yourself doesn't have a position for or against anything. It just is. And when you have a position for or against, you are in your thoughts, in your system of beliefs, in the program that conditioned you to have the life you currently have. And there is this other possibility, the possibility of living your life directly in your experience of living rather than trying to try to fit into a social structure that has evolved over the eons of time, where people manipulated themselves to fit in so they would not be
Ostracized or killed?
Yeah, that. You know, I was avoiding the kill word. But, you know, if you didn't fit in, they just killed you off because you were a threat to their survival. In any event, you don't have to do that. You can really be true to you and make it through this thing with flying colors, this thing called life. Anyway.
I noticed something as I was listening to you.
Yes.
There was a moment I was listening, and suddenly there was a moment I wasn't.
Yes.
That I followed a series of rapid fire thoughts. Sometimes people call it a rabbit hole. And suddenly I was someplace totally different, having a conversation about something I had resisted earlier in the day. And what was really wonderful was coming back and listening to your words. And that's what happens here. You can true yourself up. You can practice or strengthen the muscle of being here. And we use lots of different things just to capture all of our attention. Today's is crowdsource your life, as in thinking you don't have to do everything all on your own.
That's really cool. You know, we got a hot tub last week, a new hot tub. The old one had reached its death throes, where every week we were fixing something that, you know, was
It's like a car that you'd had for a long time and all the different parts were wearing out.
Exactly. In this case, it was a hot tub. And the electrician who installed it gave me some really amazing information. He said, you know, you could use this tonight if you use warm water to fill it rather than cold water directly from the ground. And I went into our basement and found a deep sink that we have there that had a thread on the faucet. And I went out to Home Depot and found a threaded faucet thing that would fit into a hose. And I filled it with warm water. And guess what? We had a hot tub that night.
And what was also neat was he had years and years and years of experience in installing
hot tubs.
And he said, be sure not to put hot in it. But if you put warm in it, it will take very, very little time to heat up and a lot less energy. And he was accurate.
Right.
You don't have to know everything.
And of course, there's always YouTube that will give you instructional videos.
And having a passionate curiosity about life really is a great support. And recognizing that your universe is here to support you. So in our description, we said, what if friends and even strangers can offer fresh ideas and perspectives? Well, of course, that goes for colleagues too, family members, all different people. If you actually
Listen. See, that's the thing. We think we know everything already. So we
and
don't really
we
have to listen.
think we're right.
Oh, that's so good.
It was very interesting. We're recording this ahead of time. There's still ice on the ground here. And before this recording today, Shia was out at the woodshed putting wood on our little UTV, getting ready to stack it. And it is a sheet of ice out there on the deck as well. And I was thinking, wow, this is very slippery. We could fall. And I asked him, I said, are you sure you want to do this now? And he said, yes. And I had a departure point where I could go, yes, we're doing this now. Or I could be right that it was dangerous and I could actually produce an accident to support that perspective.
Yeah, you could have slipped and fallen on the deck.
I could have. It would
I
have.
could have slipped and fallen.
But we kept our feet under us and I remembered as a kid, there was one time when there was an ice storm like that. And it was so bad that my dad put on golf shoes and walked us to our grandma's house several miles away. And her backyard had a big hill. And we toboggan slid down that. We slid on our butt. It was the most fun ever.
Yeah, I got it.
But I wasn't being right that it was dangerous.
No.
Let's take our first guest, shall we?
Sure.
Okay, Zoe, welcome to being here. Where are you today?
Hi, I'm calling in from Manhattan, New York City.
Welcome.
Thank you. I loved hearing you guys speak. I loved listening to you guys. And the topic of crowdsourcing your life, as I was listening to you guys, I had examples pop up and then I kept letting them go away. But I've been feeling that lately.
Why did you let them go away?
What's that?
Why did you let them go away?
Oh, I let them go away so I could continue listening because I...
Very good. But you see, there may be people who are not familiar with our technology that are listening in, and what you said was in a way jargonistic in that I understood what you're saying, but I don't think somebody who was not familiar with our technology would have understood you.
But I love that you explained it, Zoe, because it's true. No two things can occupy Zoe's brain. If you're trying to hold on to this great thing you have to say or thought of, you
Then you
won't
stop
hear.
listening.
And we've, Shai and I finish each other's sentences. We've worked together forever. Sometimes we supersede each other. But if we don't let go of what we have to say, we don't listen.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's so cool to be able to drop my thoughts and just be here for life. It has made such a difference in my life and my teaching. I'm a teacher and I work in an elementary school, and I had a meeting this morning with my principal and with another teacher because I'm an art teacher and we received some art funding. And so I, myself and the other person in the art department, the music teacher, we had this meeting to figure out how to spend it. And
I'm so sorry.
That was a real bummer. No, it was great. So I had this dream item in mind of really well constructed, sturdy drying rack so that I could put all of my students' wet paintings on the drying rack and not have to constantly switch it out because I have about 300 students. So I've had this dream of getting this piece of equipment that would make my room more organized and orderly. And however, I had this one in mind, and it was a high ticket item that would take actually quite a bit of the budget. And so I also had plan B, plan C, plan D. And, I was like, I can get this cheaper one, I can get this one. And I presented these options to my principal and the music teacher. And they were both like, go for the expensive one. It's well built, it'll last, and it'll be great. And the music teacher was like, I'll take what's left over. I have enough. I don't need a lot. Yeah. And I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, but I felt so supported, and I really felt how my universe was just.
But look, the way you're going about your life, with little glitches here or there, is supporting your life showing up the way it's showing up. Like, I know you had an evaluation where your principal came in and watched you teach, and
You were concerned about it.
yeah, and you were worried that she would find fault with you.
Yeah.
And what I found was how good you are,
Yeah.
what teacher you are, how you listen.
I suspect that your fellow art / music teacher was willing to support you in having the well-made piece because you were willing to see what options were the best one rather than saying, I want this, I
And you're
need
going
this.
for excellence in the way you go about teaching. So having something that will support the excellence of your students' artwork became an obvious.
Yes. I feel like recently I keep meeting these crossroads where not sure exactly how to express it, but I just see that my life could go in two different directions.
Yes.
Why only two?
What are the two directions?
Why only two? It can go in many different directions.
Right. What I see is I keep finding choice points where I can step forward into my life and create excellence, or fall back into something comfortably uncomfortable and create mistakes.
Like a complaint about yourself, or yes,
Yes.
mistakes.
Yes.
I have a question.
Mhm.
If you're busy creating mistakes, what does that serve? What is the genesis of that? I'm absolutely certain a lot of people listening to this recognize that they make mistakes, but they haven't cracked the code of why that happens from time to time.
What is the purpose of the mistake?
I think it saves me from being responsible for being excellent with consistency.
I think you just hit on it. It wasn't, I think, that is it. See, you have the capacity to be excellent with consistency. What takes you away from that are your thoughts about what would be better somewhere in the future.
Yes.
Indulging in the conversation about whether or not you're capable.
And that you've done things in the past that have been less than excellent. I could fall back into that behavior.
Yes. Yes, I see that.
So now you have some choices. And look, really, there are no choices. There's only the choice of what is, if you're here. You look and you see what's needed and produce that. What's needed and wanted, and just handle it. It's that simple. You don't have to make decisions about how you're going to be going forward in time. Take a look. Let's take a look at something personal. Your relationship to your boyfriend.
Yes.
You smile.
Yeah.
It's the best ever, yeah?
Yep. It's the best ever.
But it could devolve if you stop being honest.
Yes. I see that.
Mainly with yourself. That's first, always. And then, of course, with him. Sometimes I'll say to Sean, man, I just had this really strange thought. And out it blops. And he'll go, oh, well, being willing to share the fulsomeness of me rather than the curated version of me.
Well, this wood stacking thing we did outside. Our deck is a sheet of ice now. The backyard is a sheet of ice. So Ariel was absolutely right. It was a mistake to use today as a day to bring in firewood. But I had started, and so I had the
weight was already on the vehicle by the time he realized that
how a slick it really was, because I rode on this 4-wheel drive vehicle out to the woodshed,
and it was not a big deal.
Not a big deal because my feet never touched the ground, and the tires held pretty good because it's 4-wheel drive, and
so by the time he realized
how potentially dangerous it was, I had already loaded up this wagon full of firewood, and that's like 1,000 pounds. So I didn't want to leave that on this little machine. I have to take it off. Well, that required doing it. So it was, am I going to be right? Is she going to make me wrong for having done it? So we have to have an accident to prove her right? Or is she going to get on board with me and we'll just do this thing and take our time and be careful?
And vice versa. Am I going to get on board with me? Meaning him, because he could be like, oh, this was a mistake. You can indulge in that conversation, or you can go about doing what you're doing with excellence because you're already committed.
And when you're in that moment, you make sure your feet are on the ground before you move,
And it was really fun because I was sliding sideways. I'm like, Shia, I love the sound of my boots because it was going clack, clack, clack. Also, I thought that was really good for, the sides of my legs and the inner of my legs. And, I'm got my core muscles going, and it was like a free Pilates class.
So, it's really about being willing to be excellent. And there's a cost to being excellent, because a lot of people don't want you to be excellent. You remember seeing the movie Big with Tom Hanks?
I haven't seen that one.
I think you haven't seen that
one. You've got to see that movie. That's a good date
movie. And also, I just think it, particularly since you're a school teacher and wanting to be big.
It's about a kid who's little, and he goes to a fair, and there is a fortune-telling machine there, and it says make a wish, and he says, I want to be big. And then it gave him a ticket. It said, your wish is granted. Wakes up the next morning in a big body, in Tom Hanks's body. And the story goes from there. But, it's about, there is an agreement out there to take it easy and not be excellent with consistency.
I really, even though I haven't seen the movie, I feel how much I relate, because I have these moments sometimes at work where I get so into what I'm doing, and I sometimes feel people hating me for it. Or
you just haven't cracked the code yet, Zoe, of sharing your excitement in a way that they feel their own genuine excitement. Everyone has that inside. It's just sometimes buried under layers of different things, like what? It's not cynicism. That's the word I'm looking for. Where they get disappointed, they get cynical. They're having a bad day. A parent is ill at home.
Most people's lives are a bad day because they live in an environment, a reality called this isn't it. Like they should be doing something else with their life. we are doing, all of us human beings are doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing with this life. So you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing in this moment by being on this podcast with us. Isn't that exciting?
It is exciting.
Most people think they should be doing something else.
Yeah.
Then I'd be happy. If I had a better relationship, then I'd be happy. If I had a different job, then I'd be happy. No, then you'd find some other reason to be unhappy.
Yeah.
And so when you're happy doing what you're doing, it is a bit threatening to people. But they may remember when they were kids and they got excited by walking out on a cold, snowy day. And the snow is so exciting.
Yeah.
There's also the possibility, Zoe,
Mhm.
that you get so involved and so excited about what you're up to that you forget to turn your attention to them when they cross your field, however that is, whether it's in the hall, they come into your room,
Yeah.
And include them.
and you don't fully drop it and be there to listen to them. When you really listen to them, they're likely to tap into their own genius.
Oh, I'm getting chills. I love that.
There's no reason why you can't have a whole school full of possibility rather than just a Zoe.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that so much. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks
Yeah.
for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, it's time for the listener feedback spotlight.
It's where we get to hear from people in this amazing listenership and transformation community talking about what's happening in their lives.
I'm Karen, and I love coming and participating in the transformational seminars offered by Ariel and Shaya Kane because they keep me centered day by day and moment by moment.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shaya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We crowdsource our lives, and I am doing a shout out to all of the talented people behind the scenes that make being here a possibility, including our producers. Today's producer is Judy, but all the people who step up to produce, to edit, to upload the show, who help with the pictures, who help. In fact, you just met one of them, Zoe, and upcoming our next guest, Lenore. They help with the titles and descriptions, and we schedule, and there's a whole lot of people who are behind the scenes doing this and making your experience possible for you. So shout out to all of them. You can meet some of them at Living Made Easy seminars and our weekend seminars. You are invited. Our next Living Made Easy is coming up on April 7th. And this weekend is our
Transformation in the Workplace seminar. It's virtual, and it's an opportunity to discover how to have work be your happy place.
Perhaps it's really up to you. I mean, you could see it with Zoe or hear it as she was talking. She was discovering ideas for how to have her workplace transform, where she could be the hub of possibility rather than why are all these people around me not as happy as I am. Then our next weekend seminar
is it's in person in Hamburg, Germany, and it's the Freedom to Breathe on May 22nd. That's a Thursday. And then Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, we're doing the superpower of being you.
being you. discovering your own personal superpower. I'm so excited we're doing that course. It will be bilingual. It is German, English,
Well,
German.
it's English. We speak English, and they translate it to German.
Thank you, thank you. See, there's another crowdsource
That's
that we have. We have amazing people who are not professional translators, but they're professional at being here and making it available for other people. So shout out to all those of you who translate for us and also translate our blogs. Oh, life is so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, one last thing. Costa Rica is open and filling. Costa Rica 2026. Our 2 courses there in January. You can come for either or both.
And spaces are limited.
May 1st is the early registration deadline. If you want to go, you
If
get
you
a
know you're
discount.
coming, you get a discount if you register before then.
All right, that's the scoop. You're invited. TransformationMadeEasy.com is where you can find out more. I'd say bless you, so I'll just say bless you, even though it was a
Cough out there.
cough. Yes. All right, let's take our next guest.
Yes.
Here we go. It's Lenore.
Hi.
Hello,
Where are you?
I'm in the Bronx,
Welcome.
and thank you. I'm happy to be here. I was so inspired by your conversation with Zoe. I'm a teacher too, and I have found that I had a period of time where I wasn't crowdsourcing, and today I met an art teacher in the building. I walked past his room and then I backed up and I went in and had a conversation with him. And he's been teaching for 29 years and he had so much excitement still about teaching. And I really felt infused by that. It was very exciting. But I've noticed that there are times when I don't take advantage of people giving me information and I don't know exactly when I can hear it and take it in and when I can't.
You can't when you're working on yourself. When
That
you're
makes sense.
trying to improve you, when you're denying your own magnificence in the current moment.
Mm-hmm.
Or when
You say, but I'm not sure you got what I just said.
When I'm denying my own magnificence in the moment.
Yes. And you can repeat it back, but that doesn't mean you let it go in.
Right. There was a little bit of fog in my own magnificence hearing that.
Yes, a little.
Or a lot. Yes. Yeah.
I also think there are times where you have challenges letting things in when you're preoccupied. So that, I know Shai said when you're working on yourself, when you're preoccupied with something. So, and I'm not just speaking to you, I'm speaking in general. Like if you've resisted something like that moment where I skittered off just for a moment while Shai was talking, where I was preoccupied with something I had, a snippet of conversation I had resisted and it was incomplete in that moment. I started talking to myself about it. When you resist something, the longer you go away from that resistance point, the more and more energy it takes to hold it in place. Then there's less Lenore available in this moment for other things. There's also the honesty factor, where you just aren't being honest with yourself about something, anything, whatever that may be.
Right. I hear that, but I don't exactly get it.
Well, if you don't want to be honest about your magnificence, if you want to sell that you're an up and coming something rather than you're an already excellent teacher, sign language interpreter, designer, whatever it is that you're about doing, you can either own your excellence or you can prove to others that they are mistaken.
For investing in you.
Got it.
Have
Got
you
it.
done that?
Oh, yeah. I have done that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need
The only thing is, you can do that, but there's a cost to that.
Mhm.
You never discover how absolutely great you are. You never discover what a magnificent being you are. That's the cost of dishonesty. Because if you're trying to hold things together when they're not together, then your life becomes a charade.
Mhm.
charade.
Charade,
Depends on
charade.
if you're British.
Well,
It's a charade. Yes.
charade.
So, okay, so I have a question about that because I feel like there's a fine line between seeing that things are not that I'm off or things are not going well and just complaining.
It's not a fine line. When you see that something isn't working,
Mm-hmm.
jump on it. Don't be careful. See, you're being careful because you're trying to hold things together that aren't working for you. Because you don't know how you're going to exist without your circumstances being what they are. So you go into survival with it. This is normal. People put up with all sorts of crap because they're not willing to be honest about what isn't working for them.
Let's talk about change versus transformation. In
Okay.
change, you have good and bad, right and wrong. You have the different dichotomies. You have now identified complaining is bad. It's on the bad list. Shai was talking about how people complain. You're like, oh, yes, in my change mind, I don't want to be a complainer. I'm not going to be a complainer. So
That's
you're
good.
like, how do I say my truth without complaining? Well, sometime maybe you need to. I don't know. But if what you have is like, oh, I can't do that, I can't say that, I can't be this, I might complain, I might be, blah, 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 I don't want to be a negative person.
Then what are you? You don't have a life. You can't be self-expressive. You can't be true to yourself. You're constantly trying not to offend. Well, screw it. Offend away.
Wow.
Yeah, offend away and then make it our fault. Not necessarily for you, possibly for you, but for a lot of our listeners that come up. Carol Shai said, go ahead and offend. It's my job and it'll be their fault. Or my boyfriend's going to move out, or my husband and wife is going to leave me. And
Right.
Look,
I
your experience is not circumstantially determined, but you build the circumstances of your life to support the point of view that you're trying to promote. That's an interesting way it came out.
I love that.
Yeah.
We met a woman some time ago who was determined to prove that she was a mess. And it was so uncomfortable for her if people did not want to hold her as a mess. And you could see how she constructed her life to validate her perspective about herself. And you know, if she worked on somebody far enough, long enough, they're likely to go, yep, you're right, you're a mess.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much.
You're welcome.
Really.
Welcome.
Look, tuum est, Lenore Pemberton.
Yeah.
Tuum est is Latin for it's up to you. When I did my first transformational workshop half a century ago, more than 50 years ago, at the end of it, they gave me a little business card that said, Tuum est Shia Kane. And on the back of the card, it said, Tuum est is Latin for it's up to you. See, our lives are up to us. How you go about your life, what you're trying to prove. Is it what you really want to prove?
Well, you know by what you want to prove by what you got.
That is true. But who knows? You might be inspired to some greatness that's outside of what you've got.
You never know. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
You can subscribe to the podcast. You can share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to the newsletter. And you can also find all our courses and newsletter link
At transformationmadeeasy.com.
next week's podcast episode. Are you a pretzel? I love that
I
title.
don't know.
We'll find
Well,
out.
we'll see if I straighten out.
We'll be back next week. So come on back.
And don't miss being here.